Kyle Chrisley and his half-sister, Chrisley knows best alum, Savannah Chrisley, are feuding over his biological daughter and dad, Chloe and Todd Chrisley. But is he hitting back now to try and bend her heartstrings? Read on to find out what's going on with Todd Chrisley's oldest son. Kyle Chrisley begged his dad for visitation rights. When Todd Chrisley went to prison for fraud and tax-related offenses, he signed over custody of Chloe to his daughter, Savannah. Chloe was born to Angela Johnson, Kyle's girlfriend at the time. While she fought for legal access, she never got it because Todd and Julie had adopted the child. Kyle Chrisley recently complained that his dad won't let him visit him in prison. And that upset him because he wanted to talk to his father about letting him see Chloe. Unfortunately, Todd refused and told him to talk to Savannah Chrisley. From the Chrisley knows best alum's reaction, he can probably go and kick rocks. Savannah Chrisley keeps Chloe away from Kyle, he hits back. Todd's oldest son never used to be very active on social media. However, he started doing Q&As on his Instagram stories. Earlier this month, Chrisley knows best fans saw that he talked about Savannah not allowing him to see his daughter. He said that he doesn't see her at all. Kyle Chrisley and Savannah do not get along and she slammed him hard for ruining his relationship with his dad. At one stage, they had all reconciled. Chase and Savannah had even made up with their half-brother. However, there are suspicions that he and Lindsay cooperated with the FBI in his dad's trial investigation. Now, it seems that Kyle might be hitting back by playing on his sister's emotions. Recently, he shared another post on Stories. It came after an article by People. Alongside the screenshot of the People article, Kyle had posted an old photo. In that caption, it said, "There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about you. So many things I would sit and talk to you about." There were also some snarky comments on the screenshot about Savannah Chrisley. Savannah Chrisley seems inflexible when it comes to any cooperation with her half-sister, Lindsay, and her brother, Kyle Chrisley. They had different moms, but often, blended families can be a successful reality. As time goes by, it seems that she becomes more determined to remain estranged from her half-siblings. Probably, if he tries hitting at her heartstrings, it won't make any difference at all. What are your thoughts on Kyle Chrisley posting such heartbreaking things about his biological daughter, Chloe Chrisley? Sound off in the comments below and come back here often for all your Chrisley knows best news. Title: A Family Divided, Kyle's scathing remarks about Savannah's voice. The sun was setting behind the hills of Nashville, casting a warm golden glow over the Chrisley estate. Inside, the tension was palpable. The family had gathered for a rare sit-down dinner, a tradition they had been trying to revive amidst the chaos that had recently engulfed their lives. Todd Chrisley, the family patriarch, sat at the head of the table, his eyes flickering between his children, trying to gauge the mood. Savannah Chrisley, known for her beauty and sharp wit, had recently launched a podcast that had been receiving rave reviews. Her voice, a blend of Southern charm and assertive confidence, had won her a growing audience. But not everyone was a fan. Kyle Chrisley, Todd's eldest son from his first marriage, had been simmering with resentment. He felt overshadowed by Savannah's success, his own struggles with addiction and mental health casting a long shadow over his relationship with the family. As the family settled into their seats, the usual small talk began. Savannah, always eager to share her latest achievements, mentioned the recent spike in her podcast's listener count. "We hit 100,000 downloads this week," she announced proudly, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "That's great, Savannah," Todd said, smiling warmly. Julie, their stepmother, nodded in agreement, her eyes filled with pride. But Kyle, sitting at the far end of the table, couldn't hide his disdain. He had been drinking, and the alcohol had loosened his tongue. "Oh, please," he scoffed, rolling his eyes. "Who cares about your stupid podcast?" The room fell silent. Savannah's smile faded, replaced by a look of hurt confusion. "What's your problem, Kyle?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "My problem?" Kyle shot back, his voice rising. "My problem is that you think you're so special because you can talk into a microphone. You have no idea what it's like to struggle, to actually have to work for something." Savannah's eyes filled with tears. "That's not fair, Kyle. I've worked hard for everything I have." Kyle laughed bitterly. "Worked hard? You don't even know what hard work is. All you do is sit around and talk. And your voice, God, it's like nails on a chalkboard." Todd slammed his hand on the table, the sharp sound silencing everyone. "That's enough, Kyle. You have no right to talk to your sister like that." Kyle glared at his father, his anger bubbling over. "You always take her side. She's your golden child, and I'm just the screw-up." "That's not true," Todd said, his voice firm. "We love you, Kyle. But you need to get your life together." Kyle stood up, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. "I don't need this," he spat. "I'm out of here." He stormed out of the room, leaving the family in stunned silence. Savannah wiped away her tears, her heart aching. She had always looked up to Kyle, despite his flaws, and his words cut deeper than she cared to admit. The days that followed were filled with tension. Kyle's harsh words had created a rift in the family, one that seemed to grow wider with each passing day. Savannah threw herself into her work, using her podcast as an escape. But the hurt lingered, a constant ache that she couldn't shake. One evening, as she was recording an episode, she received a text from an unknown number. It was a link to an online forum, and when she clicked on it, her heart sank. It was filled with cruel comments about her voice, echoing Kyle's hurtful words. Tears streamed down her face as she read through the posts, each one a dagger to her already wounded heart. Desperate for support, she called her best friend, Chloe, who rushed over immediately. "You can't let them get to you," Chloe said, hugging her tightly. "Your voice is amazing, and so are you." Savannah nodded, trying to believe her friend's words. But the hurt was deep, and it would take time to heal. Meanwhile, Kyle was struggling with his own demons. He knew he had crossed a line, and the guilt was eating him alive. He had always been jealous of Savannah's success, but he never meant to hurt her so deeply. He spent his days in a haze, drinking to numb the pain. One night, after a particularly heavy drinking session, he found himself outside Savannah's house. He didn't know what had brought him there, but he knew he needed to apologize. He knocked on the door, his heart pounding in his chest. Savannah opened the door, her eyes widening in surprise. "Kyle? What are you doing here?" Kyle looked down, unable to meet her eyes. "I'm sorry, Savannah. I didn't mean what I said. I was just... I don't know. I'm sorry."